Welcome back to the Ben Mulroney Show, and thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Tuesday with us. I want to turn our attention to south of the border. You'll remember a few months ago we witnessed in horror as certain parts of Los Angeles were on fire, and now the city is on fire for completely different reasons. There was, Donald Trump has proceeded with his mass deportations. They've been going through the city of Los Angeles, rounding up illegal immigrants. From what I understand, most of them have violent criminal records, but that is not stopping people from protesting. Actually, let me rephrase and let's back up. If you know me, you know I am no fan of the protests that have taken over this city. I want them to stop. I want the police to crack down. I think their time the sun has set on the time of those protests. But those are protests. They are protests. And I know they are protests because by and large, even though they are shouting vile things, they don't get violent. They don't get violent. They don't loot. They don't set things on fire. They are protests. So I know that what I'm witnessing south of the border are riots. They may have started with protest in mind. They have now morphed into full-on riots and looting and anarchy. And anybody who calls them something else has an agenda. Like, I can see with my eyes and I can hear with my ears. I know what's going on because I can compare it to what's actually happening in a city I live in. Protest. That's anarchy. And now the looters have taken over. They've now extended far beyond where any Mexican immigrants live. They've gone into the jewelry district because why not? That's where the money is. It's not where the protest is. It's where the money is. Anyway, Donald Trump has now sent in he's federalized the National Guard, which has set him on a collision course with the governor. If you know anything about American law, only the governor is supposed to ask ask the federal government to bring in the National Guard. Donald Trump has federalized the National Guard, essentially taking that power away from Gavin Newsom. And here's Donald Trump asking about this collision course he's on with Governor Gavin Newsom.
I think his primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job. What he's done to that state is like what Biden did to this country. And that's pretty bad.
Let's just continue with this press conference that he gave, because Peter Doocy of Fox News asked Donald Trump if he thought that this oppositional fight that's going on between the governor and the president could help Gavin Newsom's political career.
The talking about him getting arrested could be helpful to his political prospects, because a lot of people think he wants to be sitting right where you are.
Well, in my case, it was a witch hunt, and everybody knew it. And I was able to explain that during the process. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And it was a total witch hunt. It's proven to be a witch hunt, and you see what's happened. In his case, it really is very obvious. You look at what's happened between the fires, I could name 10 things right now. We talk about the trains. We talk about all of the costs in California. You talk about all of the people that are flowing in, destroying life for everyone else. So, no, I don't think it's going to help him. I think it's actually very bad for him.
Look, say what you will about Donald Trump, and there's a lot of bad stuff we can say. The guy's not running for anything anymore. Like, he's a lame duck president. He got elected on certain policy promises. One of them was to secure the border. We were told for years by the Democrats, there's no crisis at the southern border. Anybody who says otherwise is a racist. Turns out, crisis at the southern border. And he got elected on a promise of finding all the people who are not supposed to be in the states and getting rid of them and taking them out. And just for context, by the way, the deporter in chief, the most deportations that ever occurred by a president were by Barack Obama. But this is a bridge too far, going and finding people with rape and murder and drugs and car theft and carjacking and home invasions on their jacket and finding them and sending them back to the countries that they came from. Apparently, that is a bridge too far. But he got elected on this. He had a mandate to do this. So when I see a guy like Governor Gavin Newsom talking tough against Donald Trump and calling these riots, which I think I've just made a pretty good case for, that they are pure riots at this point, calling them protests. Who's playing politics? Who's playing politics? Here's Governor Newsom talking tough.
The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
I mean, that's projection. Donald Trump isn't running for anything. Donald Trump has nobody he's got to prove himself to. There's nobody he's got to charm his way into the voter box with, the voter booth rather. And this is I think this is peacocking by the governor. While Los Angeles burns, he's taking issue with Donald Trump. And like I said, a lot of reasons to take issue with Donald Trump. I don't see how he caused this. I don't see how he caused this. He's going after the people that he got elected to go after, and he's sending them back to where they came from, right? You either have laws or you don't. You either have borders or you don't. The country either begins in one place or it doesn't. And he convinced enough people that this is what he was going to do. And this is one of those what they call 80-20 debates, where the Republicans almost inevitably find themselves on the side of 80% of the population of America. And the Democrats invariably pick the 20 side. This is one of those 80-20 debates. And never mind the sort of the numbers. John Fetterman, Democratic Senator John Fetterman, says it's not even about the numbers, it's about moral high ground. And he said, I unapologetically stand for free speech, peaceful demonstrations, and immigration. But this is not that. This is anarchy and true chaos. My party loses the moral high ground when we refuse to condemn setting cars on fire, destroying buildings, and assaulting law enforcement. Here's Jesse Waters from Fox News, who's normally the guy who wants to say that inflammatory thing that would make you want to punch you in the face. But this is a scenario and a situation that doesn't require inflammation.
If you are waving a flag of your country and you are burning the flag of the country you've come into, you're not an immigrant. You're an invader. And in a way, I'm glad this is happening. I'm glad the whole country gets to see this. This is mass migration laid bare. I'm glad we're seeing them throw rocks at cops. Not that they're doing it. I'm glad the country knows this is not a nuanced position. There's no middle ground here. You either have a law, you either have a border, or you have a country. And that's it. Now, you cannot have immigration without assimilation. Does this look like a melting pot to you? It doesn't look like a melting pot to me.
It reminds me of the broken consensus on immigration in this country. It has forced people who used to say wonderful, glowing things about our immigration system to turn their backs on it and say, you guys have created such a mess that you're forcing me into a position that I never thought I'd be in. A position to say, we have too many people here. We have to stop. I cannot believe that so many of us who are generous of spirit saying Canada needs as many immigrants as possible. Not anymore. Shut the borders and let's solve things. It reminds me of that. And so, look, we're going to see how this plays out, but it ain't over by a long shot in Los Angeles. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.